Hi everyone. So right now you're probably done with your scene and you want to, start rendering, and then let's say you want to have different passes like the ambient occlusion or the mist pass or whatever pass you actually desire to use for your image. Cool thing about Blender is they have this thing called the compositor, which is Shift R3, Shift F3, sorry. And if you press that, you go to this node, and usually you don't see anything, but you have to press the use node. So it was turned off, but I turned it on. And this is what you see so far, right? So, you can actually check your different passes by going into the viewport shading. And in the render passes, you see like combined emission. And, for every single part, you can kind of check how it looks like in the render. Let's say the normal maps, you want to relight maybe in Photoshop or whatnot. So let's say you want to have, and the cool thing about this so what you have to do is you go to the view layer properties, and then within that you include all the passes that you want, right? So what we want is the mist pass, maybe the normal pass, and then I want to have the diffuse color and the ambient occlusion, and as you can see, it's all stacking up right now here. So what we have to do is then we can go into the mist pass, and let's say you want to adjust the mist, right? Like to how far the mist is actually going inwards and how dark or light it is. So what you do is, because we toggled on the mist, don't forget that. So you have to toggle this on first. You can go to the world properties, and then you see mist pass here. And here you can play around with the mist and, kind of see what works best for your scene. See that? So this is the mist pass, and obviously you can also check the ambient occlusion. This is also included. And then do we have the diffuse color? This one I usually use for, let's say, you have a dark shadow in a corner or something in your image, and you notice that it's deleting all the texture work or all the detailing. You can just pull it back by using this as a mask in Photoshop and kind of like bring it back again. So, all right, so everything good so far. And the thing for it to actually adjust it here, we have to render it once. So let's start rendering this scene first. All right, then our render is done now. So what we then do is we go to the compositing uh, layer, and then what you have to do is you press Shift A and then Viewer, type in Viewer. And what you do is you connect the image to image, press Viewer, and we don't see anything yet, right? But that's fine, because all you have to do is you go to Item, and then you see here like the backdrop. All right, so this is our compositor right now. And what we do then is, let's say you want to denoise it. You have automatic denoiser in this tool, and it's already denoised pretty well. But let's say you have a lot of noise, you can still use the denoiser. And then if we go to our mist pass, see if that one works. Yes, that one works. Awesome. Great. Ambient occlusion. Diffuse color. Yes, everything works so far, so good. So after that, if you want to save the image, all you do is you press Viewer, and then you go to Save Image, and then you save your image, and that's it. So there's also another way of, there's multiple ways of doing clown passes, but let me show you one that is already in Blender itself, with the compositing. So all you have to do before you render, obviously, is you go to, view layer properties, and then in passes, you go to Cryptomatte, and then you press object and material. So what it basically does is it's going to separate everything based off the object or the material. So once you've done that and you've rendered, which I already did, all you do is you go into the compositing, you go to, you press Shift A, and then Cryptomatte. All right, and then you just connect the Cryptomatte to the Cryptomatte here, and the image to the image itself. And then instead of image, you press pick. And then, as you can see, there is a, clown pass based off the object instead of the materials. But what I actually like, what I don't like about this is like, as you notice, that there's a lot of colors which is almost matching to each other. So it's hard to kind of, in Photoshop to differentiate them when you use the picker or the lasso tool, anything. So what I like to do is, instead of doing all this, I just go into my viewport. And then what I do is, into viewport shading, you press material, which is on it already. And then the cool thing about this is you select one of your objects, you go to your materials, and then in viewport display, you just change it to any color you like. So let's do it for a couple of them. And sometimes what I like to do is, like, let's say the scene is full of stuff, right? What I like to do is I just merge a couple of them, which I'm already thinking about, like, all right, how am I going to use this in Photoshop, right? So this group, what I do is I merge them, and then I just make like a separate file, call it the clown pass, so that I don't fuck around with my textures. And then for that, I just, a viewport display, just put it on one color, like this. And that way you are grouping your masks as well, before going into Photoshop, which saves you a lot of time later. Oh, wrong color. Right, and then once we turn off the outline, and let's see, we turned the lighting to flat. There you have it. And then what you do is you go to View, Render, Viewport Render Image, and there's your clean clown pass that you can use for your image making in Photoshop. Awesome.